How can we solve quadratic equations using factorization method? In this video, that's exactly what we are going to be focusing on. Let's begin with something simple. If you have a problem like this, a squared minus 3a plus 2 equals 0. What should you do if you have to solve this problem using factorization method? The first thing we like to do is to multiply the first term and the last term together, alongside the sign that is associated with them. Now, the first term is positive a squared, while the last term is positive 2. It turns out that positive a squared multiplied by positive 2 will definitely give me 2a squared. It will actually be positive. Then the next thing is that you want to note down the middle as well, where a sign that is assigned with it, that's minus 3a. And the next thing we have to do is that we need two numbers that when we multiply them, it will give us the coefficient of a squared. And when we add them, it will give us the coefficient of a. So what are the two numbers? Now, if you find difficulties in this, here's what you need to do instead. Just divide the coefficient of a squared, or whatever variable you have, that is the one with the highest degree. Just divide it, beginning with the least prime number, and keeps on doing this until you end up having 1. Okay, so let's see. We have 2 to be the coefficient of a squared, and we want to keep on dividing this 2 with the beginning with the least prime number, which is 2, until we result in 1. 2 in 2 will be 1, and we have what? Nothing else. So we have to select these two numbers, 2 and 1. Now, this is the tricky part. You just want to assign a particular sign with these values, and the sign you are meant to apply to them, or you are meant to associate with them, must what? Must best fit the statement. Once you multiply them, it must give you positive 2, and once you add them, it must give you negative 3. So what should we use? It turns out that if the first one is negative and the second one is negative, multiplying them will give us a positive value, and adding them will give us a negative value. So therefore, assigning negative sign to both of them will be the best thing to do. So we are using negative 2 and negative 1. So the next thing after getting those two values is to what? Combine or just join the variable with them. So it should be minus 1a and minus 2a. So at this point, we would like to replace the middle term with this. Just get rid of minus 3a and put minus 2a minus 1a, and boom, we are good to go. So let's try to get rid of those stuffs. Okay, let me get rid of this as well. Good. Now I should have a squared minus 2a minus a plus 2 equals to 0. Now at this point, you would like to group these values in pairs. So this is 1 and this is another 1. Now the next thing is that you want to factorize whatever is common in both brackets. For the first bracket that is marked or that is on the line, it turns out that a is common. So bringing a out, I should be left over with a minus 2 within the bracket. Now what about the second one? It turns out that minus 1 will be common. Bringing it out, I should have a minus 2 to bring this within the bracket. Now you need to keep in mind, whenever what we have inside the bracket turns out to be different, after factorizing whatever is common, then if they are not the same, your answer is wrong. You haven't gotten the best thing, because at the end, they must always be the same. So once they are the same, then you can continue. So the next thing is that you want to combine this and take one of this and this. Okay, good. So this will becomes a minus 1, then a minus 2 to equal to 0. At this point, just set each parenthesis to be equal to 0. So a minus 1 will be equal to 0, or a minus 2 equals to 0. So adding 1 and 2 to both sides, we should have a to be equals to 1 and a to be equals to 2. And this is our final answer. Now the good thing I like about the equation is that you can always check if your answer is right or not. But I won't be doing that so as to save time. But here's what you need to do. Just plug in the value of a as 1 back in this expression. If you get 0, then our answer is right. If you didn't, then our answer is wrong. By the way, you must get 0. So let's try to work out more examples. So here's another problem for you. Feel free to pause the video and try to check if you can provide a solution to this problem using the factorization method. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do well to subscribe to my channel, as that is exactly what will impress me so as to create a lot more content for you guys. Thank you. So let's begin. E squared minus 7e plus 10 equals to 0. Unlike before, just multiply the first term and the last term. So this should result in positive 10e squared. Alright, so note down the middle term, that's minus 7e. So at this point, we need to run the test. We need two values that will multiply those two values, it will give us plus 10. And when we add them, it will give us minus 7. So what exactly are the values? Let's try to see. When we divide 10, starting with the least prime numbers, and keeps on this process until we have 1. So we have 10, we have 2. 10 divided by 2 is actually 5. 2 can no more go in 5. The next prime number is 3. 3 cannot still work. The next prime number is 5. So 5 can work. 5 in 5 is actually 1. And boom, we are good to go. So we have to select these two numbers, 2 and 5. So the next thing is that what sign should we give to these values? We need to be very careful. We need to make sure that the sign we give to them must meet the statements too. That is, once we multiply them, we must have plus 10, and once we add them, we must have minus 7. Now, judging with how it is, it turns out that if we assign negative to both of them, that will be the best thing to do, because minus 2 times minus 5 will be equals to what? It will be equals to 10, and minus 2 plus minus 5 will result in minus 7. So assigning negative to both of them is the best thing to do. So that's exactly how it works. If you don't know how to assign these values, how to get to two values, so now you know how to actually do them. Yeah. So unlike before, we just need to replace the middle term with what we have after assigning the coefficient of the variables with it. So we are using minus 2 and minus 5. So combine, just join the variable with them, that is e and e. So replace them with the middle term. So this one becomes e squared minus 2e minus 5e plus 10 to be equals to 0. So at this point, I want to group them in pairs. So I should have e squared with the parentheses opened minus 2e with the parentheses closed, and that open minus 5e plus 10, then close the parentheses to be equals to 0. Now you can just factorize whatever is common. For this part, e is common. Bringing e out, I left over with e minus 2. What about this part? Minus 5 is common. Bringing it out, I should be left over with e minus 2. Now, as you can see, what I have in the first parenthesis turns out to be equal to what I have in the second parenthesis. So therefore, math factorization is pretty cool. So the next thing is that I will combine this and this together and take one of those values in the parentheses. So this should be e minus 5, e minus 2 equals to 0. So I want to set each and every one of them to be equals to 0. So e minus 5 will be equals to 0, or e minus 2 equals to 0. So the value of e will either be equals to 5 or the value of e equals to 2. And this is the root of this equation. Now, just like before, if you want to know if your answer is right or not, just try to plug in either of these values or even both of them in that expression, and at the end you must definitely get 0. Let's try one more example in order to develop your ability in this concept. And here it is, guys. So try to provide the solution to this problem by just pausing the video and figure it out. So let's begin. K squared minus 15k minus 54 equals to 0. So just like before, let's try to multiply this and this together. So multiplying it, we have minus 54k squared. Okay, and the middle term turns out to be minus 15k. So let's try to see those two values that will work. Alright. By the way, if you already know the two values, you can keep on doing the others. So we have 54, beginning with the least prime number, which is 2. 2 in 54 is actually 27. 2 can no more go in 27. The next prime number, which is 3. 3 in 27 is 9. Then 3 in 9 is 3. 3 can still work. 3 in 3, that is 1. Now, we are having 4 different values here. And don't forget, we did just 2. So in this case, what are you going to do? You can begin by selecting two values by combining them together. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. So you can try to run the test on 6 and 9 if your result is going to work. Instead of that, we can see have another two values by combining this, and leave this. 2 times 3 times 3, that should be equals to 18, and we have 18 and 3. So this is another two values. So we can run a test and see which of them is going to work. We can see have another two values, that is 3 times 3 times 3, that is 27, 27 and 2 can also work. So let's see, we don't know, but let's begin by using 6 and 9. Which of them is going to work? Let's begin with 6 and 9. So we have 6 and 9. How can we multiply 6 and 9 that we are going to end up having minus 54, and at the same time when we add them we are going to end up having minus 15? Well, judging with what I'm saying, I don't think it's actually possible, because minus 6 times minus 9 will be equals to plus. Are you with me? And minus 6 plus minus 9 will be equals to negative. So I don't think this can even work. So let's try 18 and 3. What should we do? 18 and 3. Which of them should we assign negative 4? Which of them should we assign positive 4? It turns out that if we said minus 18 and minus 18, this will result in minus 54. But minus 18 plus minus 3 will result in minus 21. So I would like to go for minus 18 and plus 3, because minus 18 times plus 3 will be indeed equals to minus 54, and minus 18 plus 3 will be also indeed equals to minus 15, which is exactly what I'm looking for. And that is how to actually select the best two values that will work in solving quadratic equations using factorization method. Hopefully you now understand the concept. So we are using minus 18 and plus 3. So I have minus 18 and plus 3. So I'll just assign the variable with them, that's k and k. So I'm going to replace minus 15 with both of them. So I have k squared minus 18k, then plus 3k, okay, then minus 54 equals to 0. So I'm going to group them now. I have k squared minus 18k, close the bracket, open another one, plus 3k minus 54 equals to 0. So I'd like to factor out common factors here. So the first part, k is common. I'm left over with k minus 18. So the second part, plus 3 is common. Then I'm left over with k minus 18 as well, to be equals to 0. Now, the fact that x is common, as is a very popular variable that is often used in problem in mathematics, I'm also addicted with it. So I wrote x here instead of k. My bad. I'm sorry for that. So that's k. Okay. So now I would like to combine this and select one of those common values as the greatest common factor. So I should have k minus 18, then multiply by k plus 3 to be equals to 0. So the value of k will either be equals to 18 or the value of k to be equals to minus 3. So we can always check if this is right or not. Now you know how to actually solve quadratic equations using the factorization method. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Alright, please don't go yet. I have an exercise for you. And here it is. So you can always actually send your solution through the comment section below for me to review, and I will reply to it as soon as possible. Thanks for watching once again. See you guys in the next video.